But where the industry is going, and if we're working on audiobooks specifically and we're a narrator, well, characters have to breathe. Taking out all the breaths in the characters don't make any sense. And people still like a nice, warm, natural sound. So I'm just going to say blanket. The industry is going toward much more conversational. I can find exceptions. I can find a client that wants something different. But I also can tell you categorically from talking to so many people that where it's going is more breath. So more does not mean asthmatic or erotic breaths. Okay. We're not doing erotica where you need lots of breathing. We're not talking about that kind of stuff. But most characters need something. That's too much. Don't do that. You do not want to call attention to your breaths. But then we have a whole very interesting conversation that comes up about it. And that's, well, what are you going to do about it? Or what should you do about it? If you're going to do an audiobook, you can take out an occasional breath and you can lower a breath a little bit. Like, and I actually have this little mental roadmap. If I'm lowering breaths more than about 6 dB, it's too much. And then what it really means is if I'm doing too much, bringing too many of them down, then that means I need to go ahead and do some practice, or I need to talk to my client about, hey, there's some practice things you can do that will bring your breath down to a reasonable level. And then people ask, well, can't you just do that with the tech? Put in a de-breather? Okay. Yes, sort of you can, but most of them do not sound very good. And just an aside, most of the de-breathers that are out there that are traditionally called de-breathers were originally designed for singers and musicians. But, having somebody singing within a song, you can have something that the breaths don't need to sound natural when you're done because you're going to have music in the background. And when you apply those to spoken word, they're inconsistent because they were not designed for that purpose. And every once in a while, I'll get a voice where that worked pretty well. But most of the time, it's like, a third of the breaths, I just don't like the way they end up sounding because that tool was not designed to do that. It's the old using a hammer to pound in a screw type thing. It kind of can work, but it's not optimal.